If you're ready to make a big change in your life and you want some support and some tips to help you get from where you are to where you want to be, you are in the right place. Welcome. My name is Erin Vasquez, and I'm a master certified coach, timeline therapy practitioner, and hypnotherapist. And I specialize in helping creatives build a life that they love. And if you are looking at making a big change in your life, whether it's in your career, finances, relationship, health, you're going to want to know a couple of things to really support you for long-term sustainable success. Let's get started with my top 5 tips to help you really make the change that you desire in your life and have it last a lifetime. Number 1, I want you to focus on what you do want. Where our focus goes, energy flows. So if you start focusing on the thing that you're trying to change, aka the thing that you don't want, your energy is actually going to start flowing toward the thing that you don't want. So say you're a musician and you want to record your first studio album. Yay, that's so exciting, and it's really simple. You want to focus on that. So often we'll see stories, or maybe you'll hear things, or if we're in a circle of naysayers, or there's loved ones who are trying to protect us from how difficult it is to go out and build dreams and make them real. A lot of people really want to protect us from how painful and difficult it can be. You might hear stories about so and so went out and did this and tried to record their album, and then this bad thing happened to them. You want to reject that at an unconscious level. If you've been in any of my classes, or maybe you've seen some of my old videos, reject anything that does not serve you at an unconscious level. I'll say it over and over and over again, and then return your focus back to what it is that you want. I want to record my first studio album. Or my second tip for making lasting big life changes is to set a schedule, make a schedule that really sets you up for success. I know for myself in the past that I've been so eager to make these big life changes that I've set an accelerated timeline, and then I don't hit the goal, and then I get really discouraged. But it really helps, even if we're doing really great, big, magical things with our life, to look realistically at the timeline. So to record a studio album, what the first thing is, choose when you would like to have that done by. If it's 6 months from now, great. Go ahead and say 6 months from now. And then you have to reverse engineer. By reverse engineering and looking at all of the intermediate steps, you can start setting deadlines and break down a bigger goal into smaller bite-sized chunks and really enjoy the wins on the way. You'll start focusing on the wins. You'll start getting into that feeling. And then if you encounter obstacles along the way, you can just back up a little bit, know that you can change it, and then re-engineer your deadline and still stay on track mostly. The third thing I want you to do, and this goes into making that schedule, you'll see how these 2 steps really work together, is make a list of everything you need. Have you written all the songs that you want to record in the studio? Do you have the musicians who know the songs? Do you have the studio booked? Do you have money for the studio? Do you have the instruments? Do you have the sound engineers? Do you have all of the producers, everything that you'll need for this? And then you'll have an inventory list of what you need. And then since you have a schedule broken down of what needs to happen when, you'll also know the deadlines for what you need to get all of these resources together. You'll have a schedule of deadlines that helps you determine what you need and by when. So you know what you can hustle on, you know what can wait for a second, and you know what you're doing. You have a general big picture, as opposed to if you don't take these intermediate steps, these baby steps, it can feel really overwhelming. The fourth step when you're making a big change in your life is to make a list of the resources that you already have. This is going to show you how supported you are, and it's going to remind you that we have so much in our lives already. And this is really, really important, because this goes back to the first step where we focus on what we do want. So often when we're making a change, we're confronted with all of the things that we don't have. The whole reason we're creating a change in our lives or going after a change in our life is that there's something missing that we want to grow. There's something we haven't achieved. So remember, where your focus goes, energy flows. You want to start focusing on all of the things that you do have as well. It's really good to be aware of the things that you need in order to achieve your goal. But if you're feeling like overwhelmed, start with the little things that you do have. For instance, you're watching this video on YouTube, very likely, or on social media, and that means that you have a device to watch it on. You have internet, which means that you have answers to so many questions at your fingertips. How amazing is that? If you start looking at little resources like that, if you have clothes on your body, if you have electricity in your house, if you ate a meal today, you're doing pretty good. And then if you have even more, like if you want to chunk it up into the more complex things after you give thanks that your basic needs are really taken care of, if you want to start looking at the fact that maybe you have instruments. Another thing is, do you know someone or know of someone who has achieved the goal or made the big life change that you want to make? The good thing about that is that success leaves clues. We don't have to reinvent the wheel every time that we want to make a change, because it's very likely that someone else has done that too. So what steps can we replicate? What conditions can we replicate? So that right there is a resource of knowledge. What other resources do you have? You have the ability to change your moods, right? I'll talk about thoughts, feelings, and actions, but you can be in a state of resourcefulness, of curiosity, of creativity, of compassion, of love. That's when you focus on the things that you have. If you find yourself feeling overwhelmed, stuck, or in a lot of stories about why you can't make this huge change in your life, because really you're going into the unknown, and your unconscious mind is going to file that away as the unknown, as dangerous. So it's going to put up stories to encourage you to not go after it. It's your brain's way of trying to keep you safe. But at the same time, keeping you safe isn't necessarily going to keep you in progress. So what you want to do is continue making a list of the resources that you do have. Maybe you do have the studio, maybe you have a mentor, maybe you have a coach, maybe you know of a Facebook community, maybe there's in real life community somewhere by where you live. Make a list of these resources, and bonus points, give gratitude for them. Gratitude is a catalyst for abundance. My fifth tip is look at obstacles as opportunities. As I mentioned before, you might come up against stories that make it seem like a really good idea to not go after the big change. And that's because there's things working at an unconscious level that are saying, stay within these boundaries, because on the other side of those boundaries is something unknown. We don't know what it is, so we fear the unknown. Or as Garth Algar says so eloquently in Wayne's World, we fear change. You want to look at obstacles as opportunities. To make a huge change in your life, you're going to have to grow, and there's a reason why they call it growing pains. They call it growing pains because you're going to have to expand outside of the mental boundaries that you currently have in place. These mental boundaries are belief systems, they're thoughts, they are decisions that you've made at an unconscious level that have probably supported you in some of the success and some of the better things in your life that you are experiencing today. But the fact is, the fact that you desire to grow means that there are going to be some of those patterns and some of those decisions that no longer serve you. You want to pay attention to when you're feeling emotionally charged in a positive way, because you want to replicate the behavior that is creating that positive energy flow for you. You also want to pay attention when you're feeling negatively charged. What you want to pay attention to there is start noticing, first of all, what's triggering, and then at a deeper level, what do you think gets to heal, shift, release, or resolve at an unconscious level? Because that's what the negative emotion is. It's not necessarily a negative emotion. It's an indicator that something gets to heal, shift, release, or resolve. And instead of giving into whatever story or fear that's coming up, it can simply be the resistance of why we shouldn't take that little baby step. I'm really tired. There's a new comedy special on Netflix. That glass of wine sounds really good. Whatever it is that your resistance normally is, it's these little stories of sabotage, basically. Go ahead and listen to them and say thank you, and then rewrite the story. And again, you want to recognize the growing pains. You want to recognize the growing pains and understand that's all they are. And that means just really staying the course. Those are my 5 tips to help you make really big life changes. And hey, if you found this video really valuable, just drop me a comment below and let me know what you found most helpful, what else you really want to know. And be sure to subscribe to my channel because I'm releasing weekly videos to help you develop a really strong mindset so you can live a life that you are passionate about. All right. So I can't wait to see you next week. Be sure to subscribe, ring the bell, and I'll see you next time. And if you're interested in some more in depth information on how to set goals and really achieve them, you'll want to click on the link below here that takes you to a free training that I've designed that goes really in depth with some of the tools that until recently I've only used with my students or my clients. So be sure to click on that link and you'll get instant access to this training that I'm so excited to share with you. It gives you practical, spiritual, and mindset tools that are going to help you with your big life change. Thank you for watching. Bye.